So, good morning everybody. It's Monday morning, somewhere just after 8 o'clock. I should be in bed, but I'm not. As you can see, I am outside the Black Horse, which is our neighbour at Briggate at the new house. And between those two houses there, that's our archway that we go into, where Simon is now coming out of. So I've come down just to show you that this is really going to happen. So I'm going to try and film this in one take, and hopefully I'll not fall over, trip over my own feet, trip over some scaffolding or whatever. They are here to put the scaffolding up today. The side of our house, the far side of it against the pub, is literally right against the pub, and they are having to put scaffold up in the pub car park. We've spoken to the landlords and they are okay about it, but we need to get a wiggle on because the pub is going to be opening again, albeit only outside, on the 4th of July. It's about the 7th of June today, so they need to have the scaffold up, all the render and whatnot done that side, and have the scaffold away before the 4th of July, because the pub, when it opens, is only going to be in the car park. So they're going to be putting all the tables. They've got one odd table here, and then round that way we've got all the other tables that they've just shoved to one side. So when the pub does open outside, they'll be filling this car park up. There'll be no cars in it, and they need to not have the scaffolding up. So just to give you a better view of what we've got from this side, that is our wall. House runs all the way over to there, to the front. Just to let you know what we've got in the pub car park here. We've got some little outbuilding here which they're actually working on. Scaffold people waiting for the things that they need to do. More scaffold people waiting for things they need to do. And the back entrance to the pub is just here. The Black Horse, there you go. So it's hopefully going to happen. Whilst we're waiting for the rest of their gubbins to arrive so they can start setting up, I'll take you round into the garden, because since I last did a garden film, there's a reasonable amount taking place there, not least some growing of plants. We planted all these little dinky things, and some of them wasted away when we had that hot weather. But now that the weather's gone a little cool and we've had some good bouts of rain, it's actually looking quite, it's getting more looking like a garden, which is no bad thing. So I'll show you where we're up to. The house is no different, obviously, but I will show you the garden. Main thing you will notice when you get in there is that it has been mowed. We've actually got a petrol lawnmower on loan from our neighbour who we bought the house from, which he doesn't use because he has a ride-on mower. So he's been able to lend us that, and about a week or two ago, I mowed the whole thing. Gave myself terrible blisters on my hands, and the arthritis is killing me, but it was worth it. So here we are. It's looking quite nicely green at the moment after the rain. Patio at the back of the house. We've moved the table and chairs. It was there, but obviously they're going to be putting the scaffolding up this side as well and at the back, so we need to have everything clear. My naked lady from the garden in Burley has surfaced. We managed to dig her out of a box, so it's feeling more like a garden. I don't do garden ornaments as a rule, but this one I always just rather liked. So we've got, if you remember, these are fig trees. These were here already, and they're going to be staying. So this sort of lent itself to have a little sort of flower bed. I know we've got lamb's lugs at the front, just because I know we had them as kids in the garden. Here, I think this one was and I can't remember what it's called, peony. I think that is a peony. Not sure about the other ones here, but you know, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. I never said I was a gardener, or a filmmaker for that matter. So, oh look, pieces of scaffolding getting ready to be put up. So this junk is all still here, so I have to walk back this way and get round it. I think when they start building on the house, they're just going to get a big skip and then they can throw it all in there. We've cleared enough of it ourselves, it was knackering. So our table and chairs have just moved over to the garage. So they're out of harm's way. A bit later on I will unlock the garage because I want to show you what's in there. So here we go, and I'm hoping you can tell from previous videos that this has actually been mowed. It's only been done the once, so it's very rough. I wanted to get the worst off and then let it grow a bit, and then sort of hopefully it'll start to look more like a lawn and less like a sort of random field. This has gone a bit bonkers. It's rather lovely though, so I've no wish to take that off yet. So let's go down. Let's go over to the fence line. This is where we've got, where we've got our fruit trees, if you remember. We've got 4 fruit trees even. One thing we have got as well now is a proper big compost bin, which is this one. It's made from, I think it's just like a hard plastic with the bolts in the join, which are here. So basically when you're wanting, you know, you feed it in from the top and it all flattens down, and when you're wanting to actually get ready compost out, you just literally unbutton it, take what you want from the bottom, button it back up again, and the whole thing will drop down, and so on and so on. So that's good. Fruit trees, well, we have got little fruity things appearing on them. Looking rather like a bottom, that one, but there you go. So we have got growth. Can't remember what any of them are now because Simon's, oh no, he hasn't taken the label off. Damson. So there we are. That's that one. A bit further along. And then this is one of our first sort of flower beds, if you like, that we've put back onto the fence. So you've got a sort of roughly, that's the next fruit tree there. You've got roughly a sort of half moon shape there. These are actually waking up quite nicely. Another little one along the fence, a climber, that is just beginning to climb. They're all looking quite green because they do appreciate the rain that we've had, and they're probably about the only things that do really. And ducks like the rain. Next fruit tree is green gage, that's right, and we don't have anything appearing on the green gage yet, but it does look okay. Then we've got another flower bed here. This one's actually looking quite interesting because we have actually got flowers on it. So try not to tread on any at the time. We actually have little flowers coming up and a little one at the back there, and we've got a little set down here. So that's always nice. Oh, we've got another one at the back. But this one, there's a dinky little one there. And then we've got plants coming up here, potentially with flowers on. And what next? Another climber up on the post there. Little one. These, I'm quite looking forward to seeing how these grow as they get bigger, because they look quite interesting, whatever they are. That one's slightly duff, but overall I think they're strong enough now to survive. And look, red hot pokers. Red hot pokers always remind me of my childhood, the good bits of it anyway, because we always had them in the garden, in the family house. I used to love those, so I was adamant I wanted red hot pokers. So we have red hot pokers, and that one is starting to poke, which is great. Another peony at the back. More stuff. I mean, there's not much point in me going down to ground level and reading all the labels to you, because as they grow, you'll see what they look like, and it doesn't really matter what they're called if they're pretty. So here, I think this is one of the berries. Was it a blackberry? No, it's not a blackberry. But there's going to be this post that we've put in up here, Simon's put in, and we've got another one the other side, are going to be used as training posts for these fruit bushes to grow up. This one I do remember is, now then, is it blackberry? I thought it was, no, that one's not blackberry. This one's the blackberry, I think. That looks like the blackberry. It's a little bit limp, but aren't we all this time of the morning? So it's coming along, and look, we've got 2 hexagonal beds up now. I don't know if we had them both up last film I made. And we've got strawberries around the edge of this one, I do remember that. This was a plant, I think it's a herb actually. It was in one of the pots that we had in our garden back at Burley. We brought all the pots and their plants here, and they've just been sat outside our tiny little 2-bed terrace in the little tiny front sort of yard thing. So this one we brought over and we put it into this bed. Actually, I've just realised I've said that these are strawberries, and they're not strawberries. Strawberries are in the far one. I know nothing of these things. I just like nice plants and flowers. So there we are. Hexagonal bed 2. Enjoy it while you can. More plants going on down here. It's nice to see these splashes of green in among what's really been a bit of an eyesore piece of land. It's really nice to see this starting to happen, and all these weeds that have come down. All this rubble, that will go. A lot of the stuff at the front is going to be going into, I've forgotten what the word is that you put underneath before you put a surface on the top of it. Hardcore, that's the one. Hardcore, because down the bottom here we've actually marked out a patio. Yes, we have a patio up at the house, but I wanted one right down here as well. So we've got one measured out down here. It's measured out with string, which you can't see on here. But we're going to have another one because I was adamant I wanted a patio right at the bottom of the garden. Because we've got this gorgeous river down here. We've cleared a lot more up here. It's taken so long to clear this. It's been painful in lots of ways because a lot of it was brambles. So you can actually see much more clearly down there. Hopefully the river. See if I can zoom in a bit. Can't really see it there. You'll have to trust me. There is a river down there. So we're going to be able to have a nice patio down here and enjoy the river. Oops, walking into things. Oh, there's the water. Well, hopefully you can see the water there. I bet you can't hear it, but it's lovely listening to it doing what water does. Watering, you know. Flowing, that's the one. So just go back up and give you another quick look at the first 2 raised beds that we put up. Do you know, I keep saying we like I actually had anything to do with it. Simon put it up. I was sort of builder's mate, you know, passing him random things and holding things in place. He did all the work. So these are actually, the contents of these are not looking too bad. The first things that we actually planted in there were asparagus, and we lost quite a few of those when the sun decided to work its magic. But overall, now we've got quite a few green things going up, shooting up. Tomatoes at the front here. There's a few tomatoes in this one actually. And then, I don't know what this plant is at the end, but it appeals to me greatly, which is probably why Simon's bought it. He knows the sort of thing that I like, something that's a bit different. So, I think in here, this is all veg, because I can see a sign for sweet pepper and green peppers and parsley, and obviously the tomatoes here. These particular ones are going to be black cherry tomatoes, very nice too. Another one ready for planting here when we get to it. I want to see what this one is. That's the blackberry. This one, I think, I'm gonna look. Oh God, it's a long way down. It is. What the hell is it? Swap hands. It is a blackberry. It's Rubus Oregon, thornless. So yes, that is blackberry also. So maybe they're all blackberry. I reckon that's blackberry. And that's blackberry. Oh, that's raspberry. I was lying to you before. I was convinced that was blackberry and it's raspberry. It's berries anyway. Come on, you know, fruit stuff. So yeah, there you go. So if you remember on early videos, all the junk and nasties down here is now just being reduced to this pile of woody stuff, which when it's dry we might just burn. We've got a lot of clearing to do down at the edge of the river on the bank, because we've got random concrete slabs and sort of bits of burnt out wood and stones, big rocks, and some steel posts there as well. There's some metal embedded in the sheets of metal mesh, which is sort of embedded into all the thorns. That's the edge of another big slab of concrete. So we need at some point to get a couple of ropes around these things and see if we can pull them up between us, because at the end of the day we don't want them falling into the river. That's not nice for anybody. So we need to work on that, see what we can do there. I just love this tree, you know, over the other side. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's like having your own little forest, you know. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, and the sound of the water, the sound of the birds chirping away. I bet you can't hear this, but you have to trust me, it's lovely. So, looking back to the house, and you can actually see, since I've mowed, I think it's just sort of opened it all up, and you can see we've actually got quite a big garden rather than just a, as I said before, a random field. So I'm going to show you something else that's been a good move towards the move. When we moved out of our house in Burley, we moved into a little tiny 2-bed terrace rental, and all our goods and chattels that we didn't need and wouldn't have room for went into storage. So we've been paying £10 a week, I think, for 5 crates in there. And now we have been able to take all that out of storage except for one item, and now in our shed we have all our goods and chattels now. So all these boxes, pictures, it's the base to our kitchen table. That's our mattress, beds at the back. Don't know how much of this you'll be able to pick up because it's jolly dark. You have to trust me, it goes on a bit further. We've got a black leather recliner sat there. Endless boxes, packets, dining chairs. It's a blanket box upside down. That's the stand for the TV and whatnot. More chairs at the back, desk chairs. These are glass display cabinets, which I'm very pleased to say are still in one piece despite being shunted from pillar to post. And another spare chair, which actually folds out into a bed, this one, which is quite good. And all our just random gardening type stuff is just all sort of shoved onto here now. So we've got everything out of storage except for one item, and that is our huge American fridge freezer. Apart from the fact it takes up a lot of space, I wasn't prepared to put something that valuable into a garage which is potentially a bit damp. With it being electrical as well, it's a bit expensive to replace that one, so we've left that in storage, but that means we're only paying for 1 crate now instead of 5. So all the rest of the money can go on to the house. So, yep. Oh, hey up, I can hear the clanking, and I believe that might mean scaffolding is going. Oh look, yes it is. I can see a pair of hands in red gloves just appearing over the horizon. Look, there you go. It's actually happening. It's actually going to happen. They've estimated they'll get all the scaffolding up on that side today. Probably have to come back tomorrow to put the scaffolding up on this side. They might as well get it all up in one go. But their main thing they have to get on with is that side, the pub side, to get it done and dusted and out of the way and safe for everything. So it's happening. I am a bit speechless actually, because it seems to have taken a long time. It was November last year when we first looked seriously into buying a house, into moving rather I should say, and then Simon went online to look at what there was around, and he said, oh, you must look at this, I found this really interesting property. And I did, and I said, oh, that's interesting, and then I bought it. So it wasn't anything we'd planned to do. People have said to us, you know, have you done this sort of thing before? Are you going to have it done and move, sell it on and whatever? And we said, no, absolutely, no need to, you know, we've got no plans to do anything like that, never done any project like that. Now, I'm being rudely interrupted by Jet, who I think you met last time. Jet belongs to Fernando, who lives next door. Hey, Jet, what's that noise for? See if we can zoom in. Oh, there she goes. Hello, sweetie. You telling your dad you'd need your breakfast? I bet you are. She's looking for something anyway. So, there you go. So it's all a bit more open and nice, and the scaffolding's going up. And we've chosen the colour for the render on the house. And, you know, it's coming along. So I'm going to leave it at that now. I'll probably come back in a few days or end of the week when all the scaffolds, when it's all sort of properly moving. Let's just see if they've got any further while I've been talking. Hey, there's 2 posts up there now instead of 1. It's happening. It's definitely happening. Let's hope it keeps happening. So that's it for now, and look out for the next one.